You guys know who that is. You're gonna meet her. She's coming. And I'm waiting. We Bangladeshis are always late. No offense. And she's actually a very busy person.
So this is Black Star pastry. They have a very, very famous cake. This is the watermelon cake. Now, the connection I'd say to Bangladesh with this is, first of all, it's the most Instagrammed cake in the whole world.
Really?
When our Honourable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina came down here a few years ago to meet our now ex-Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, I actually sent her this cake. Well, they were celebrating and they said, we need a cake. And I went, well, if you're going to try one thing from Australia, it has to be the Black Star pastry watermelon cake. So Black Star were amazing. This was up in Sydney, not in Melbourne, and sent out 2 massive watermelon cakes. And our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina loved it. So there you go.
Wow. Did she take like Instagram photos with it?
Did she? Yeah, did
she?
She put it on her Insta. That's where it became famous.
So Miss Kishwar, the worldwide famous chef, just treated me this. Thank you so much.
It's okay.
You're so nice.
Very cute.
Oh my god, you're
When you
looking
make
at the
all my-
knives.
Yeah,
You're
when you-
very friendly. Now you're appearing very friendly as a person.
No, this is
She's
what
just going through the knives.
I always like to add.
It is
to-
true that the chefs are very intrigued by knives.
It's not intrigue. These are our tools.
I'm sure you have a lot of different sets of
I do
knives,
have
right?
Lots of different sets of knives, and
All right.
what it is I think when your tools are good,
Right.
it's just this is part of my trade, and it just makes for your work to be a
Right.
lot.
So you buy
better.
a lot of kitchenary items, like almost
I buy a
every
lot
time you
of
come to the
gadgets.
store.
I buy a lot of different knives, obviously, but just little bits.
What kind of gadgets? Like electronic gadgets?
So yes,
Or
kitchen
kitchenary.
electronic.
All right.
I took one of these to Bangladesh when I was living in Dhaka,
Okay.
and it became my thing to do. So I would make handmade pasta, making pasta or baking or
Right.
even fermenting things, pickling things, achar banano.
I've seen in one of the interviews that you really love achar. Not bhaji, but achar, right?
Yeah, I think pickling and fermenting is something, it's an art form, and we always
Right.
have that one mummy or chachi or neighbor who just does a particular achar very well. I have so much respect for people who know how to do that.
You have lived here for a long time,
I was
right?
born here.
You were born here. Oh, wow. New information. She was born here, guys. So you could have just done something else. Like in a cooking wise, you could have tried the international cuisine and all that, but why Bangladeshi per se?
Just being in the culinary world.
Right.
The amount of respect I think the French and the Italian, a lot of Europeans have for their heritage,
Right.
it's what makes me think that we have that existing in our own culture and our own heritage as well.
Exactly.
So it was very much out of respect for how people value themselves, and how I think we have, especially now, we have a whole generation who don't find a lot of value in their own culture, in their
True.
own language, in their own food, in what happens in their own lives, and we're always trying to imitate what someone else is doing.
This is a spice shop,
Yeah.
store. Do you have your own spices?
Well, I did a collaboration with them. It was one of the first ones.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, a while ago. So that was last
Then show me your one. I don't care about other people. Come on.
someone who does.
My caretaker cooks very well. And he's a guy. For a guy, he's an amazing cook.
I like that you want to go out there and offend people, and you've just told me for a guy, he's an amazing cook.
Yes, I just offended.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
what men do-
I just offended
Yep.
Kishwar.
Yep.
The interview is over. Bye.
Chili chocolate person.
Yes.
Are you?
Chili chocolate? I've never tried it
You've never
before.
tried chili chocolate?
No.
Maybe we should take you
Like
to
it
Coconut
tastes like chocolate, but it's spicy.
It's spicy chocolate.
Alright. Never tried it before. Can you use it in chicken?
A lot of South Americans and Central Americans use chocolate as a spice. See? The Mayans began mixing cocoa with ground chili and spices as early as 460 AD. So
Okay.
these are like really cool sort of heritage recipes. I'm going to get you a little bit of this. You know, I do get a lot of people asking me
Right.
when I'm opening up a restaurant and where they
You
can eat
haven't.
my food, which is natural. I came into this wanting to be a writer, and I
Right.
think becoming a chef off the back of this was
Right.
very, very much unexpected in my journey as well. So I
Right.
do events and I do projects. I probably do 2 or 3 projects a year that I really, really love, that are interesting spaces. I never want to open up my restaurant. I never came
That's
into this
unique.
wanting
That's
to be
really
a
different.
restaurateur. Thank you for everyone who reaches out from India, Dubai, Bangladesh, always
Everyone asks
offering
the same
me to
question,
have
yes.
a right. No, that's
Right.
it's sort of not my food dream, and I can
Right.
understand that it's someone else's food dream.
Yeah.
So I think right now I'm in a very great place where I get to travel.
Right.
I get to work on very, very interesting projects.
Right.
So in March, I was in Dhaka with the Joy Bangladesh Foundation, which is an art space, but they also have a lot of visibility for South Asian talent in spaces where you wouldn't see it often. So whether that's in Venice or London art friends, or like they do incredible work.
Right.
And then they sort of brought me in as a culinary artist. And we had a 120 person sit down. I think it was a 6-course degustation at the Westin with the team at Westin and Prego under me. And it was so fantastic to showcase Bengali ingredients and Bengali produce with that very, I guess, fine dining space. And so that was amazing. And they're the spaces that I love. It's more creative. It's not a day in, day out sort of thing. You create a menu, and sometimes that could be 3 weeks, it could be a month, or it could be just that one experience, and that's it.
So I have seen a lot of comments under your posts or your videos that people ask you, you probably even know, aware of them. You're from Bangladesh, your heritage is from Bangladesh, but you were born and raised here, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you speak in proper Bangla?
Yeah.
অনেকেই ask করে. So
Yeah.
অনেকেই জানে না যে you were born and raised here. So this is the first language that you got familiar with. So could you address that for the viewers?
So to address that question, I think first and foremost, I'm a Bengali.
Right.
My father is from Bangladesh and mom is from India, which has also been a topic of hot debate of so I think when I go to an Indian cricket match, which is in my hometown, like playing at the MCG, people question whether that makes me a non-Bangladeshi supporter. And I think in all of that, whatever language you speak or however you identify, I'd just like to say I identify as being a Bengali. I'm a born and brought up Australian, and there are hundreds and thousands of people like me living in America, living in the UK, living in Canada, being born and brought up in Australia. And what I want to ask the audience is, why does that make me less Bangladeshi? Why can't I count myself as a Bengali? Why can't that make me passionate about my heritage? Why can't that make me passionate about my culture? The reason I speak English in interviews often, I'm Banglateও কথা বলি, Englishও কথা বলি. When someone asks me something, I very, very immediately think in English first. So, and then from there I translate in Bengali. But আমি বাংলা লিখতে পড়তে পারি, বাংলা বলতে পারি, এটা কোনো সমস্যা নাই।
আমার থেকেও better বাংলা বলতে পারি।
What I mean is যে on a public platform আমি যদি কোনো ভুল বাংলা বলি বা আমার pronunciation ঠিক মতো না হয়ে থাকে, I feel like that will become the topic of conversation more than what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so you earlier mentioned that you never wanted to become famous. It just happened to you because you just followed the process.
Yeah.
Right. So how did your family react to it? I'm sure just because now you're recognized, right? Your husband or your kids, they're also kind of not in the limelight, but they also have to kind of maintain the new lifestyle that you have.
Right.
The whole family dynamic changes, the relationship dynamic changes. It happened with me.
I think I'm very lucky. I come from a family who's really supportive, but really good at absorbing things. I've already had a full life. I had a very, very successful career coming into this. And I could transfer those skills into what I do now. And I think that's why
the passion just got amplified by that.
The passion for food got amplified. It's a new industry. But in terms of how I function, being high functioning or working or just I was part of a family business, so is my husband's family. So we're all in printing and packaging. And you're asking how it's changed our lives. I would say I have a dad and a mother-in-law and a father-in-law and just general family and sister and brother-in-law who are just generally way more famous than me already. And I don't mean famous because that's the other thing. I think I've always wanted to be successful. I've never wanted to be famous. As a female, as a chef, as a Bangali, we don't get to see ourselves in spaces, and that undervaluing of who we are as people.
Right.
I think there needs to be more value than that. I have very proud parents. I have very proud in-laws, and we take a lot of pride in who we are as Bangalis, as Australians, as Bangalis living outside Bangladesh. It's not easy.
You know, I've met you and I can, vouch for that actually the way you carry yourself,
Yeah.
it shows that you're proud, you're comfortable within your
Yeah.
skin.
I want the next generation of kids to be comfortable in their own skin. I don't want them to ever second guess, how brown we are, or always say
It doesn't matter.
oh, আমরা বাঙালিরা এরকম, আমরা বাঙালিরা এটা করি. The truth is no. Every culture has their flaws. Every culture gossips. Every
Right.
culture has the nosy aunties.
Right.
We're so unanimous around the world.
It's not just Bangladesh.
It's not. And so
Yes.
when I see people disassociate with their culture all over the world, saying, "Amra Bangali ra erokom Bangali," and I really hate that notion. I think, and if there's one thing, if I could leave one note or one sort of legacy, it's for my children to take pride in being Bangalis.
How is culinary careers in general? Like,
I
are they
think-
toxic? Are they good? সব কাজেই কিন্তু এরকম একটা নেগেটিভ ফ্যাক্টর থাকে, but
Yes. What I'd say is you create your own kitchen culture
Right.
and you create your own organizational culture. And that's the same thing that goes in anything. It could be a media space, it could be in PR, it could be in banking. I think the next generation of leaders and the next generation of managers
Right.
do look at workspaces, and they do
Right.
look, especially after COVID, of what makes a workspace or what makes an organizational space worth going to every day.
So yeah, I understand that, and thank you so much for all the answers. You have actually answered every question very gracefully.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for giving me the time in a short period.
Yeah.
You could have just rejected me, but you didn't. You are so nice, and John Bhai was very right. So I've never interviewed anyone. So how was I? Like, I'm sure you interviewed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Was I bad at? And I'm sure আমার অনেক improvement দরকার আছে. So what do you have to say about me?
Do you want me to give you a whole review on your interview?
Not whole review, just be like, completed within like 2 sentences, but be as brutal, honest as you can. You can be very mean. আমার comment section আরো mean জিনিস আসে, so it's
Oh, is
totally
it?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Rakin reached out to me last night. He also messaged me at 1 a.m. No one else do that because I will just not say yes. But he's come with very, very highly recommended from a mutual friend.
Yes. Good for my self-esteem. Good for my self-esteem.
To be honest, what do you want to say?
And I'm replying to it. I'm not defending it. Yeah, thank you so much.
He's really, really sweet. He was fun and engaging, and asked me questions that I don't usually get asked before. So there you go.
Wow, yes, thank you. আমি অনেক হলিউডের ইন্টারভিউ দেখি তো, and I always go, আমাকে অনেক উল্টাপাল্টা কোয়েশ্চেন্স করে, আমি
Right.
ইন্টারভিউতে যাই, আমাকে লিটারালি একবার আস্ক করছে, এটা আমি বলতে পারি আমার অডিয়েন্স জানে, আমাকে বলে কি, do you like girls or boys? Literally I was asked this in
Yeah.
front of the national television.
Do you know what I was asked in front of national television?
Yeah.
Well, when I was answering about my work and, talking about women in the kitchen and
Right.
more serious topics that should have a light shade on it in a 10, 20, 15-minute interview
Right.
space, the reporter sort of let that swipe over her head and she goes, আমাদের অডিয়েন্সের জন্য আমরা শুনেছি আপনি গান গেতে শিখেছেন, আপনি নজরুল গীতি আর রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীত গান করতে পারেন, আমাদের অডিয়েন্সের জন্য 2 লাইন একটু গান গেয়ে শোনান।
আমি না অ্যাকচুয়ালি ফার্স্টে মনে করছিলাম যেটা আমার কোনো ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ইন্টারভিউয়ার, বাট যখনই বলছি নজরুল গীতি শোনান, এটা বাংলাদেশ ইন্টারভিউ ছাড়া কেউ করবে না। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। শি ইভেন গট মি দিস cake.
It's just cake.
It's not just cake. It's a cake from Kishwar, Miss Kishwar, and highly recommended. Kintu she amake.
Don't shake
She
the
talked
cake.
about this cake for half an hour, guys. It has to be very good.
Shake the cake.
Oh, I'm not gonna shake it. Oh, sorry. It comes really highly recommended. Sorry for shaking. And this is a spice. She told me to try it out with my chicken or anything that I like.
Just make a hot chocolate from it to begin
Hot
with.
chocolate.
Yeah, it's
spicy hot
it's a chocolate, chili hot chocolate.
Yes, আমি এটা নিয়ে একটা Instagram story দিব, post দিব,
Yeah.
tagging her, so you'll know about it. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You are really nice, and it was a humble experience to be talking to you.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Bye.